got a feeling this year it's gonna be the best one yet. So let's go, get out in the green fields and let the music flow this year. It's gonna be the best one yet. So let's go, get out in the green fields and let the music flow this year. It's gonna be the best one yet. So let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my birthday concert. As I said, most years I'm in Ibiza on my birthday at Costa del Folk, where people buy me drinks and pat me on the head. This is your chance to do that digitally. And I thought I'd choose a song from every era that I've been writing, starting with the first song of mine I ever played in public, and I'm going to finish the evening with the last song, original song. So here we go. This is me, and I'm 15. Just realised this over 50 years ago. And it's the Deer Leap Folk Club on Exmouth Seafront. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. It just might ease my mind. I'm not trying to be hurting. I'm not trying to be unkind. But I'm catching the first train in, and I'm leaving you behind. Please say you understand, babe, 'cause it just might ease my mind. Oh, it just might ease my mind. You know those summer days are calling. I wanna live without a care, to wake up so early in the morning, feel the dewdrops clinging to my hair, and I'm catching the first train in the morning, and I'm leaving you behind. Please say you understand, babe, 'cause it just might ease my mind. So is the influence of Bob Dylan that obvious, babe? You know, the thing about catching the first train in the morning from Exmouth, it stops at Exeter and you have to get off, you know. So it's not as if you're really escaping a small seaside town. Still, it's the thought that counts, isn't it? Oh, I'm catching the first train in the morning, and I'm leaving you behind. Please say you understand, babe, 'cause it just might ease my mind. Normally I do that as a sort of joke number, and I get people to sketch out the last word, because it's that obvious, isn't it? The rhyming scheme. So anyway, as it's happy birthday to me, cheers. You know, I have my, my glass of bubbly here. The next song, obviously there's lots of songs I could choose from that teenage era. This is called Friends. The other day I went to a place called Turf Lock, where the Exe River meets the canal, and there were two venues on the canal. One was the Double Locks Hotel, and the other was Turf Lock itself, where the foreign language students used to organise barbecues And as ever, there was a need for miserable folk singers to sing miserable songs to Scandinavian teenagers, and that was a good night out. But this is really more than turf. This is about Double Locks. There was a fantastic folk club on the Double Locks Hotel every Saturday night. We saw Jackie Levin, Johnson Field, we saw Stan Arnold, we saw Noel Murphy, we saw that whole generation of of folkies in all the troubadours in the 70s. And I wrote this song about leaving Devon, but returning and hooking up again with all my friends. And Phil and I sort of started playing it lately, actually, for the first time in ages. And it's all about really the way that music can bring back memories. As if the time hasn't passed at all, you know. Now, what was a little riff? That's it. Well, I'm glad I found you here. I hope you're doing what you like. And though it's been a year, we're gonna sit up half the night. I hope beneath the surface we're still the same. And though the music's changed, a song remains. Circumstances broke the spell, sent us each our separate ways. But it wasn't so hard to tell. We just began another phase. So many stages I recall. Just when they seemed final, we wrote them all. Now there's time to look around. Let old memories fill the room. And just on the edge of sound, someone's playing out of tune. What does it matter how long it lasts? It's the old familiar faces to help time pass. And when the coming days have long pulled us out of sight, and pressures begin to weigh, don't take them on without a fight. Time is money is all they say. Believe that and you've thrown your friends away. But now I'm glad I found you here. I hope you're doing what you like. And though it's been a year, we're gonna sit up half the night. I hope beneath the surface we're still the same. And though the music's changed, a song remains. That's called Friends, and this is Sit You Down, which is a song that's probably been played across more of these decades than any other. This is my leaving Xmas song, and seeing the ghosts of sort of friends and schoolmates in the faces of people as you go back to your hometown. My mum's favourite song, this was. And on my dad's headstone in Littleham it says, you left an empty space, and it still remains. So I've lost count of the number of times I've sung this with Paul Downs and with Phil. And people ask for it a lot, so it must have hopefully touched, nearly said touched a nerve, I mean struck a chord. You used to sing at the break of day. Through long hours the song wouldn't fade away. Your eyes were bright and your voice grew stronger. You couldn't stay at home any longer. Now you search for the ones with the means to pay. Some of us have never left this town. We looked around a while and settled down. We built our lives with those around us, but you left before you nearly found us. But if the dreams that you weave ever come unwound, sit you down at the journey's end. The day has fled and you're with your friends on every side. You'll find your own. Sit you down and welcome home. You walk with those that barely know your name, and the sea of talking faces sounds the same. Don't live and laugh with strangers too long. Turn your steps back where you came from, 'cause you left an empty space and it still remains. Sit you down at the journey's end. The day has fled and you're with your friends on every side. You'll find your own. Sit you down and welcome home. Sit you down, welcome home. When I do this live, I'll get everyone to sing this bit. So I don't know if you're going to do this out there in digital land. Sit you down. Let's hear it. Sit you down. And then I add the harmonies. Sit you and then I add another one. Sit you down. And when everyone's singing along. Sit you down. When you're lost and afraid. When you're on your own. When you're far from home. That's always quite a nice moment. Well, I don't know if the person sitting next to you on the settee or wherever you are was singing or not, but give them a nudge if they weren't, because it's cheers again. The other trouble about digital online gigs is I tend to get very drunk because I don't have to go anywhere. So let's see what happens tonight. I've got 16 songs for you, And I'm moving through the eras now. We're up to the 80s now. We're up to my 20s. And now Phil and I do a version of this song, Don't It Feel Good? But we also used to play this in the rock band I was in Short Stories, and in the West, and in the Cheats, whatever the name was. Now the way Phil and I subsequently played the song is the light in the street. It's very sort of Dire Straits, J.J. Cale. But the way we used to play it in Short Stories, oh, the light in the street, it shadows your face. And I used to do the Mockney accent. So I'll try and find a way in between the two tonight, because you've all heard the moody version plenty of times. So I might just do a... The light in the street, it shadows your face. The smile disappears, leaving no trace. As you turn to go, I whisper your name. Now that I know, I want to see you again. But don't it feel good? I hope it feels good. I've known for a while that it's gone wrong when we don't smile. How can we hang on? So gather your thoughts, all the words you throw bring nothing but tears. Why don't you leave me alone? Don't it feel good? Walk away, hope it feels good. There's nothing to say, don't it feel good? Don't turn around, don't make one sound. Don't it feel good? Damage is done, our moment is past. We've wasted our time, just how could it last? As you turn to go, I whisper your name. Now that I know, I want to see you again. Don't it feel good? Feels good. Don't it feel good? Hope it feels good. Oh, oh, ooh, don't it feel good? Folk and roll. So as I say, that was very much the way we used to thrash it out. That's probably a Short Stories version, I would have thought. I'm just going to go to the water for a while. So that's 4 songs. Day Has Come, I wrote in Cheltenham when I was hanging out. Of all the places in England, I suppose I've hung out in Cheltenham and Brighton more than any place outside of Devon and Dorset. Paul and Phil lived in Cheltenham for a while. And there was always a flaw in a great big Georgian flat to be found. I've still got some friends in that area, Sid and Phil and Simon and all those guys, who we regularly go up to that area and watch Exeter beat their favourite rugby team, Gloucester, which is a bit unkind to rub it in. But so we've still got good connections, and Helen, of course, and various other people. So Day Has Come. I must have been going through a particularly miserable phase, because this is all about a dream whose atmosphere you can't shake off throughout the day. You know, sometimes it's very vivid, isn't it? And throughout the day, it's almost like you were at a place or with someone. And often you can't remember the dream itself, and then something comes to you in a flash, and it's very, very vivid. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a little echo on my trusty Trace Elliott amplifier down there. You might recognise that riff from Lost, because I've borrowed that. Day has come. I pull the curtains and shake my head. Dreams remain though the dark has fled. They weave the room like spider thread. Spaces talk and shadows smile, and weave the day to my sleepy bed. Dark has left a silent guest who woke in sleep and now won't rest. A midnight friend that night has left, not close enough to hold or touch. I hear a sigh and I feel a breath. Still my midnight friend is near. She gently whispers in my ear words that only I can hear. She stands just where the mirror ends, but the image and the glass stay clear. City calls me on my way, walking through the early grey. Her steps beside me fade away. I never want to sleep again, 'cause waking brings such pain when day has come. I never want to sleep again. Waking brings me pain when day has come. See what I mean about getting lost in a mood? I could just sit here now for 5 minutes and just, so as I'm saying, it's the booing I miss. What's that joke? They're booing. No, there was someone cheering. No, they were cheering the booing. So I don't know where this next song comes from. This is the darkest song I have ever written. It's called Unlock Me. And I'm always a bit reluctant to say too much about this one, because It's about a thing called false memory syndrome, which I'm not sure has been discredited now as a phenomena in psychology or in psychiatry or whatever. But at the time, people were coming out with stories that seemed to have been planted in them in the course of therapy. And that's what I remember when I wrote this at the time. So I haven't sort of gone into it in too much detail ever since. But these are some images from my sort of childhood that I've used to tell the story. It's called Unlock Me. It couldn't be more appropriate, could it? For the times we live in. You hand me a bunch of keys and say, let's look through the past. You know I like to please, but all I ask is which one, oh, which one unlocks me? The first key opens the garden gate where I play in the sun. Under the trees the shadow grows dark and I want to run. Was it this one? Oh, does this one unlock me? You look around, there's no one there, and you say something's wrong. And what is it that I'm trying to hide? So we move on. The next key opens the old front door. Daylight shines in the hall. I hear voices trying to hide. I'm pressed up against the wall. Was it this one? Oh, does this one unlock me? We open a room at the top of the stairs, and I hide under the bed. My eye touches a small wooden box where my name's written in red. Oh, you open the box and there's nothing inside, but you say something's wrong. And what is it that I'm trying to hide? Unlock me. Unlock me. So I'm not talking to you anymore. I've thrown your keys at your feet. Down the stairs and through the front door, I'll open the gate to the street where someone, oh, someone unlocks me. Unlock me. Unlock me. Pull the bones out of that one. Right, I'm going to instantly refresh myself with a glass and a glug of water. Thank you for joining me on my, and this is my happy birthday, with the songs like I've played so far. I must have had a very miserable youth, or teens and 20s, I don't know. So that was from Lie of the Land, so that was the late 30s really. Produced by Gerard O'Farrell, who I shall be seeing in the next 24 hours. He's now moved back from Oz to England and has all sorts of weird and wonderful schemes to talk about. What have we got next? Oh, my Dorset song. Egerton Hill, Cold Frontier. Couldn't have been much fun, could it, for a Roman soldier to have been posted to Plymouth. I mean, imagine that, you know. You come from some vineyard area in Naples. You're off to Northumberland. And so I'm absolutely fascinated by the Roman Empire. To think that they were here for, what, nearly 400 years? And gradually things must have fallen apart. You know, the roads would have been not maintained. There would have been rumours of people on the edge of town who you didn't really want to meet. And let me find my tuner on my phone. Where are you? There you are. So I used to go up to Egerton a lot with a Springer Spaniel called Jack, who had one blue eye and one brown eye. A guy told me he was a lucky dog, and I sold him to the guy for £25 and he came back, so he was right. Only joking. Would I have sold Jack the Springer? So still on Egerton and around Maiden Castle they find the remnants of Roman artifacts. And Wynyard's Gap, which is quite close to where I am now, was a vine growing area by the Romans. Cold frontier. Walk out on these ancient hills, and there's something under heel. Reach down, let your fingers touch a blade as cold as steel. I was the man that left it there as I tried to build my home, watching over cold frontier. I was 1,000 miles from Rome, and our worlds collide after all these years on a cold frontier. I cleared the land, cleared the woods for houses set to last. Now all my cities and all my roads are just contours beneath your grass. What of those men that we couldn't tame? Well, we drove them far into the west. Their songs and their stories still remain, but what became of this world I left? Just the stones and the clay that the plough reveals on a cold frontier. Such a cold frontier on the Danube and on the Rhine, on the Tamar and on the Tyne. Es ist so kalt. A silver coin I've left for you. You can spin it in the air. On any country this coin might fall, it would always pay your fare. But it's in the faces and under the skin of all those who've worked on this land that you'll find the traces of who we've been. They lie so close to hand. And are the borders down after all these years on my cold frontier? Such a cold frontier. So I'll play one more in this half. I'm going to do this in two halves because I'm just going to pause for refreshment, etc. So if you want, you can pause it as well. Pause it for 15 minutes and go and get a drink and do what you need to do, and then I'll come back in. But I won't really be gone for 15 minutes. You just have paused me for 15 minutes. But you get the general point. So let's treat this like a gig in that sense. Although obviously, as it's an online gig, I'm not going for the big clap, audience applause, rock and roll moments. It's very different than online gigs. It's like a series of short stories rather than like a book, isn't it? That's the way I look at it. I figure I'm sitting next to you wherever you are, unless you're watching this in the bath, and telling you stories and singing you some songs. So I'll sing you, we now move up to AIG. This is what? Recorded this in the late 2000, I suppose? Yeah, 2000 and something. This is Be Lucky. Again, this is all about the search for fame and fortune. And in a way, this song looks back on the other songs and sort of draws them in. It's about going to London and trying to be famous and not troubling the scorers, as they say. Just realise it's in the same key, but big chunky chords. Phil and I learnt to do this before the era of boy bands. Obviously, we would have been snapped up. West Country Life or Phil said, eat that. A few things you should know. Haven Banks is a little area in Exeter where there used to be a fairground. And I did get my fortune told, but not at Haven Banks. I got my fortune told at Malplash, at the Malplash show, when I was about 41. And a lady told me I would have 3 kids, and I walked out in disgust at the sheer impossibility of that at that time. Perhaps I owe her some more money. Or maybe she was trying to warn me. Maybe it was more Macbeth than the Wuthering Heights, than Far from the Madding. So okay, so this is vocally a bit of a bash, and it's got a tricky bit in 7/8. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. That I always get wrong when I play with Phil and Miranda, and they always glare at me. Here we go. See you in a bit. I was 17 in a painted caravan where I went to get my fortune told. Can you see what the future holds? She said, be smart or lucky. And if you can't make the mold, break the rules. You can make friends or money. But if you would be king, be cruel. You have to be cruel. So I went out in the world. I lived in London town, but I knew those streets weren't paved with gold. I looked up to a man, he never let me down. He said, son, if you want this music sold, you could be smart or lucky. And if you can't break the mold, break the rules, you will make friends or money. But if you would be king, be cruel to those around you, those close. There is no clockwork in the stars. No one cares how good you are. Look around, this world is full of hungry souls who want it all. Space inside they need to fill. Friendship they're prepared to kill. Hunger is their guiding light. They claw, they scratch, they push, they fight. They wanna be lucky. Now I've come so far. People ask for clues and say, how have you found the peace you've earned? It was one night in a bar, a young man on the move, he said, so what's the one thing you've learned? And I said, be smart or lucky. If you can't break the mold, break the rules, you will make friends or money. But if you would be king, be cruel. Can you be cruel? How much do you want this prize? Will you freely sacrifice pride in your integrity for fortune and celebrity? Better be cruel, break the rules. Oh, but be lucky. See you after the break, everyone. Pause me for a quarter of an hour and I shall return.
For personal attention by experts in all photographic and audio equipment, see and hear a comprehensive range of both, on show within 100 yards of this cinema. And for individual attention to your black and white or colour processing, Reeves is the name to trust. Reeves are Birmingham service agents for leading manufacturers of equipment, and our outside sales staff are at your service on request. Our own preview theatre is at your disposal.
For a salon that carries out hairstyling at the highest degree and employs a highly skilled staff to cope with any creation, coupled with a first-class service, all at moderate prices, make an appointment with us.
For TV, radio and all electric appliances, a visit to our showroom will be worth your while. We've the largest selection in town. There are models and models. Cars, of course, but the used car for you should be a model of reliability. Buy a used car you can depend on.
Fashion, dresses, suits and coats in latest fashion for you, for you.
Grill ready.
On grill.
Sprouts to simmer.
Simmer sprouts.
Chips ready.
In chips. All systems go, Mom?
All systems go. Wash hands for dinner.
You give the orders, today's high-speed gas cooker does the rest. So clean-looking, so modern and efficient. Well worth a special trip to your nearest gas showroom.
There's nothing like the Guards, and the filter cigarette named after them is second to none. The feel, the size, the taste of quality. Guards, 4 and 3 for quality.
You enjoy the movies, like to know what the stars do. On and off the set, it's good to know what's new. Then read all about it in the ABC Film Review. Collect those colored pinups of the guys and gals who send you. Hollywood gossip gets here right on cue. So read all about it in the ABC Film Review. The latest that they write about. Collectors come and they sad about. So many things to find out about. It's over to you in Film Review. Read all about the big time, what the big time stars all do. Every month just buy that ABC Film Review. Every month just buy Film Review.
Fans, stand by for Cool Off with Lion's Mane. New Supersonic Zoom, the big ice lolly with free picture cards. Hey, get this. New Super C-Jet, a 3-flavor knockout. And the first ice lolly specially for girls. It's fab. Unfasten your seatbelts, lolly lickers. Cool it with Lion's Mane. On sale now.
Welcome back to my birthday concert. Did you actually have a break or did you just sit there? Did you go for a jog? A drink, a cup of tea, a drink, or a beer, whatever? I did. I went for a 5-mile run. I feel refreshed now. So we're back in Exmouth for this song. This is called The Dive. Oh, cheers, by the way. Happy birthday, Steve. Thank you. This is called The Dive, and I suppose my friend Dave told me the story a long time ago. It happened in the 90s, but he didn't tell me till about 205, 206. At that time, we were childless. Not quite. We had 1 kid each, and we ended up having the 3 that the song mentions. Predictive folk songs. So this is basically what happened. The Dive. One November's noon, we left the docks, heading southwest from Orkham Rocks. My dad and me, our 9 to 5. He used to steer, and I used to dive. So over the side I slowly went down, 100 below, to where the sea water's brown. But after an hour I got low on air. When I surfaced again, his boat wasn't there. 'Cause my market boy must have come untied and drifted away with his boat at its side. He looked at his watch, 3 miles to the south, and he turned back again, his heart in his mouth. Soft rain on my face, the sun almost set. I cut loose the weights and I let fall my nets. The lights on the shore shining bright and clear. The cold was drifting in and there was nobody near. Nobody near. But was there ever a reel, a rod or a line, so strong and true, so straight or so fine, as the tie that wound him through time and space? He came out the darkness right to my place. Now we don't talk much about those days. Got 2 kids of my own now, with one on the way. And if they're to grow, and if they're to thrive, one day they'll go, and one day they'll dive. When they come up for light and for air, I hope someone's close, I hope someone's there. It's November noon and we're leaving the docks. My son and me, we're just off Auckland Rocks. Let's dive, let's dive. You must break free, let go. The Dive. Quite pleased with the poetry of this next song. This is off AIG, so we're now talking about 209. It's called IED. It's the age of the acronym, wasn't it? AIG. We all found out acronyms we didn't want to know. The AIG Corporation. Didn't want to know about them. And the IED. At that time, when I started singing this one, you had to explain to people what an IED was, but now it's, unfortunately, part of our vocabulary. And the final verse was inspired by a young woman called Neda Agha Sultan, who was shot in the streets of Tehran by a sniper who was a part of the security force. And I wanted to sing this one in particular because of the news recently about Nazaruddin Zacharia Ratcliffe. I mean, how brutal can you get? How much can a government actually lie? You know, destroy a young life. Hopefully not destroy them. No pretense, is there? No pretense at justice. And the second verse, Phil and I were driving in Germany at 4 o'clock in the morning, and a chap decided to join the Autobahn at about 140 miles an hour. He missed us by 6 feet. And I just thought, all our lives we've been on that track to meet at that moment, haven't we? Every decision we'd ever made at any point had led to that split second. It's just like, wow, doesn't bear thinking about. And the first verse is really about really what the family went through. There's something underneath my skin no one can detect. It's time to detonate within with maximum effect. Hidden in some secret place, till without warning, without trace, the planets and the stars align, and the wires will just connect. Science on nature, scattering spores and seeds. Before my maker, I get down on my knees. Have you an answer or another IED? But if I disarm you, will you let me be? A driver in the darkness nods his head and starts to yawn. We've both been on this journey since the day that we were born. 2 lives on a single track, the plus and minus now attract, and they're intersecting on a map just an hour before the dawn. Science on nature, scattering spores and seeds. Before my maker, I get down on my knees. Have you an answer for another IED? But if I disarm you, will you let me be? Will you let me be? The sniper on the rooftop gently calibrates his sights as a stranger in the road slowly steps into his light. It's a well-known face, now me or you. The focus sharpens into view. The moment comes, the aim is true, and he fades into the night. Science on nature, scattering spores and seeds. Before my maker, I get down on my knees. Have you an answer for another IED? But if I disarm you, will you let me be? I will disarm you with reason, with rage, with despair, with prayer. Now let me IED. I could have given you a happier birthday show, but I think the theory is that the more gloomy the songs, the better you feel afterwards. Is that the way? Is that like the enjoyment of horror? You know, we all just experience the worst, and everything is better after that. A little catch in the throat then. Couldn't quite hit the high note that I wanted to belt out, but Savage God. Oh, that's I know, that's from Alan Alvarez, wasn't it? Book about suicide. Savage God. Blah, 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 blah. What about Roots? Don't often sing this song. But it's time to bring it back into light, I think. Bring it back into light. But I've reinvented it. I've reinvented it as a nice finger-picky song. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. I thought after IED I'd do something a bit gentler. So this was from the Witness album. We're now talking about, what, 2011, are we? Wow, 10 years ago. More. Now it's been 25 years or more. I've roamed the land from shore to shore. Time to tame my 7 to 10s. More to Vale, Peak to Fen. Played in cafe and pub and bar. Stood in the streets with my old guitar. But I'd be richer than all the rest. I wish I had £1 for each request. For dueling badgers, American pie. It's enough to make you cry. Rule Britannia, swing low. Are they the only songs the English know? Seed, bud, flower, fruit. Never gonna grow without their roots. Branch and stem and shoot. We need roots. After the speech is when the cake's been cut, when the disco's over and the bar is shut. At birthday, christening, wedding or wake, what can we sing till the morning breaks? For the Indian, Asian, Afro, Celt, it's in the blood below the belt. Singing and dancing all night long. What if they got it right that we've got wrong? Seed, bud, flower, fruit, we're never gonna grow without our roots. Branch, stem and shoot. We need roots and haul away, boys, let them go. Out in the wind and the rain and snow. We've lost more than we'll ever know. Round the rocky shores of England. Haul away, boys, let them go. Out in the wind and rain and snow. We've lost more than we'll ever know. Round the rocky shores of England, we need a roots. And then a minister said, his vision of hell is 3 folk singers in a pub near Wells. I got a vision of urban sprawl. Pubs where no one ever sings at all. And everyone stares at great big screens. Overpaid soccer star, prancing teen, Australian soap, American rap, estuary English baseball cap. And we learn to be ashamed before we walk of the way we look and the way we talk. But without story and without song, how will we know where we come from? I've lost St. George in the Union Jack. It's my flag too and I want it back. Seed, bud, flower, fruit, never gonna grow without their roots. Branch, stem and shoot. Need roots and come on. Out in the rain. We've lost more than we'll ever know. Round the rocky shores of England. All away, let them go. Out in the wind and the rain and snow. We've lost whom we'll ever know. On the rocky shores of England. Roots, different version. Somebody thought I was out in the wind and rain and snow. It sounded like something from King Lear, didn't it? Blow wind and crack your cheeks, whatever it is. Funny, you change the landscape of a song and different words sort of creep out. It's quite nice. We've enjoyed slowing down country life lately. And then people say they get bored of that and they want us to speed them up again. So, it's nice to play around with these songs like people do with folk songs. They do different tempos and different keys and cut and paste. So, in about 2015, one of the most enjoyable experiences of my musical career was meeting Leonard Podolak and Matt Gordon at the Cecil Sharp project, put together by Shrewsbury Festival, and it was to explore the work of Cecil Sharp in the Appalachian Mountains 100 years before, in 1914, where apparently there was no good food and the accommodation was dreadful, but he found a store of folk songs that were virtually unchanged from when they left England and Scotland and Ireland and Wales. And he brought them back, and they're part of the canon of English folk singers. Anyway, it was great to play with those guys. And this is a song Caroline Herring started off, and we sort of finished it together, called Aunt Maria. And what's nice about that Americana stuff, it's generic in the sense you know where the chords are going to go. And it was lovely playing this with Matt and Leonard, particularly when Matt would play the banjo or Leonard would start flat-footing. That was just amazing to play. People actually dancing to what you do. So Aunt Maria was an African-American woman, one of the only sources, I think, from that community of a folk song. And she actually knew these folk songs, and Sharp collected from her. But there is a feeling that he could have delved a bit deeper into that community to find material. So this song, she's basically saying that there's more. Where that came from. Hello, Mr. Sharp, sir. Hello, Mr. Sharp, sir. Welcome to these parts, sir. They call me Aunt Maria. Hello, Mr. Sharp, sir. Welcome to these parts, sir. They call me Aunt Maria. Listen to my song, sir. Listen to my song. It won't take you long, sir. Sit right down with me. My sister, she died young, sir. My sister, she died young, sir. Glory bells were rung, sir. But back in 93. Come on. Hello, Mr. Sharp, sir. Welcome to these parts, sir. They call me Aunt Maria. You do that. Come on then. I want to hear to these parts. They call me Aunt Maria. My brother works in the mines, sir. My brother works in the mines, sir. Down where the sun don't shine. All on his hands and knees. My daddy was a slave, sir. My daddy was a slave. They came too late to save in 63. Come on then. Hey, they call me Aunt Maria. Bit livelier, isn't it? My birthday is a bit lively, that. And the drink is continuing to flow. This is, we may have even released this as a single. This is my Seaside Love song. Well, how many has he got? Keep thinking. This is called Now You Know. And I haven't played this a lot lately, but it'd be a good one for the festivals, I think. Particularly if Mr. Cormac Byrne is joining us. Now you know, now you know, now you know, will you come back to me? And what I do live, I make a list of all the reasons that this woman should return to me. And I list, my season ticket at Sandy Park, my credit note at Darts Farm. Some of them are rather obscure, but some of them occasionally gain a laugh. I don't know quite what I'll do tonight because it's an ad lib I do when you're singing. So let's see what happens when we get to the end of the song, shall we? We were friends and lovers, trapped in a wave-washed town. Hand in hand we walked by the water, and as the sun went down, with a dimming of sunlight on your face, you swore you never would leave this place and stay with me forever in the West Country. When you left that day, you took my key. I tell you the hills and the rolling sea are yours forever if you come back to me. Now you know, now you know, now you know, will you come back to me? Try that. Now you know. That's right. Now you know, will you come back to me? I dream we sway by the ocean, my hands on your hips. When I wake you're whispering finally, it's your taste on my lips. I gained the world but lost the prize, 'cause you're living out there under London skies, when right back here in my arms is where you should be. In the mist-soft valley and the rolling moors, the hills, the valley and the grounded shores are yours forever if you come back to me. Now you know, now you know, now you know, now you know, will you come back to me? No second thought, no shadow of doubt. From the cliffs I will shout your name out loud if you come back to me. No silent prayer, I'm loud and clear. You're out there and I'm still here. I'll wait forever till you come back to me. I'll show you the moon on Portland, I'll show you the river on the moors, we'll roll across the Tamar if you come back to me. I'll even show you Philby's boat on the River Cliffs. All the wonders of the world are yours if you come back to me. Now you know, come on. Now you know, now you know, will you come back to me? What takes before? The false ending doesn't really have the same effect though when you're playing it just to an empty room. Okay, 2 or 3 more now for you, and then my birthday party gig is over. So that's slightly lifted the mood, has it, a little bit? This is called Long Way Home. This is off. It's off Long Way Home. That's the title. The Eponymous. Is that the right word? Eponymous. Long Way Home. I wrote this down in Corsand, just the other side of the Tamar. A week before, the guest house that I was in was basically flattened by the westerly storms, and the little lighthouse in Corsand was flattened, and pebbles the size of rugby balls were thrown through the window of the room that I was sleeping in. What can I say about it? It's just not real. It's not real big content, this one. It's just one of those couples meet again after years and years and years, and they sort of start off where they finish, or they carry on where they. You know what I mean? The drink. It's the drink. What's happening is all the donations that are flooding in are just sending me so much drink money that it's. Anyway, we'll see. Long Way Home. Well, I'm glad that you would meet me on this lonely side of town, where we once fell completely until our love was found. Now in your face I can read so much of all those lives you have known. We lost our nerve when we lost touch. I took the long way home. I took the long way home. No, I don't mean to rake over embers, but you never told me why. The first I knew it was over was the last time you said goodbye. No, I've been east to west, I've been north to south, so many worlds I have known. I've lived cap in hand, I've lived hand to mouth. We took the long way home. We took the long way home. And now I want no vows, let's make no plans, but no more nights alone. We are face to face, come on, take my hand. We took the long way home. We took the long way home. So, as promised, I'll finish with the two most recent of my songs, my two lockdown songs. The first is called The Ride. And who knows, maybe in 2 months or so, all this nonsense will be over and we will be mask-free, and able to carouse and to get out there in the green fields. And there is a crossover in the lyrics in these two songs, because they're both about getting out there again for festivals and for dances and for cinemas and all those things. That's really, there's a couple of lines that you will see in common, particularly the smell of the dust and diesel. That line was given to me by Josh Podbury. When I told him I wanted to write a song about a fairground that had closed down for the summer, he said, well look, I've worked on the loads, as they call them, the loads, and I know where the nearest winter yard is. And I thought, what a great expression that is. There's a winter yard in Clisson Mary with a fairground. Winter's up. And I thought, that's what we've all been doing. We've all been stuck in the winter yards. And I said, more expressions please, Josh. He said, yeah, the moving days, the tilt and the flash, and the gallopers, not the carousel. The tilt and the flash is the decoration and the lights, the breaking ground, but particularly the smell of dust and diesel and new mown grass. And the gaffer, the boss. And usually if the fair's owned by Harry, his son will be called Harry Jr. Yeah. So this is about a fair ground owner saying to his son, look, not this summer. And that was last summer. So this is the ride. The old man called me in last night, told me we had lost the fight, and the only way to make it right was to close the old fair down. He said, I'm really sorry, son, I can pay you for the work you've done, but I won't keep you hanging on till summer rolls around. For 100 years my family's worked these grounds, the county show, the village green and all the market towns, but now it's over. Now it's over. All locked up in the winter yards, a travelling life had left the scars on the gallopers and the bumper cars, all shining in the rain. And as we locked the gear away, I promised I'd be back one day. For one last ride I'd surely pay to work these loads again. For I don't believe our way of life has passed. The smell of dust and diesel and the new mown grass, the tilt, the flash, the build up and the pulling down. I miss the moving days and the marking out the ground. If it's over, if it's over. So I'll head down to my brother's farm, where the winter work will keep me warm. Turn my collar to the northern storms and shelter to the spring. But there's one thing every showman knows, people will need a place to go. For a film, a fair, for a dance, a show, where they can shout and sing. And I'll drag that weary gaffer to his feet and say the summer's here and there's people in the streets. Oh, our lockdown winter yards, no place to hide. So step right up and walk this way. Everyone's a winner on that that sweet day when we welcomed back the ride. Welcome back the ride. June the 21st. Step right up. There you go, the ride. And finally, if all goes well, this could be a single, this next one. It's called Greenfields Let's Go, and it's my festival anthem. And what we've got is everybody on the agency has added something to this. So you've got Track Dogs, you've got Banter, you've got Phil and Hannah, Edgelarks, you've got obviously Miranda, Phil and Cormac. Everybody has thrown something on and Jolyon is mixing it, and we're going to make a little film of this and hopefully it will celebrate us all being released on June the 21st. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your attention and your donations, if they are forthcoming. If they're not, it doesn't really matter. It's nice to spend some time doing this. It's going to be the last sort of PayPal gig, I would hope, for a while. And it's been great. It's been a year doing this sort of thing. So I had this riff. Ages, in need of a song. Richard Shindell says, inside every folkie there's a frustrated rock and roll star. And I like nothing more than playing Thinking About Thinking of You, Summertime Thinking With You. I love belting out the Stereophonics song. So I tried to sort of write this in that more mainstream, come on baby sort of feel. You can be the judge of whether it works or not. Anyway, thanks again everybody. I'll leave you with this song. This is called Greenfields Let's Go. Come on baby, wake up, don't think twice. The cars all packed and the beer's on ice. The sun's coming up at the end of the street. I know a perfect place where we all can meet. Ahead we've still got a 4-hour drive, and when I see those fields I won't be alive. Come on now, we gotta take a chance, or we'll forget how to kiss, how to sing and dance. Doctors said it'll do no harm, and we need these days like a shot in the arm. And if the road map's clear, I got a feeling this year is gonna be the best one yet. So let's go out in the green fields to let the music flow. Yeah. After drifting over new moon grass, it feels so good to be here at last. We're staring up at clear blue sky. Won't you lay right down as the time slips by? Hopes and dreams were broken and crushed. Now they rise in the air with the lights and flares like diesel and dust. Oh, in science we'll trust. I got a feeling this year is gonna be the best one yet. So let's go in the green fields and let the music flow this year. It's gonna be the best one yet. So let's go out in the green fields, let the music flow. Let me find the middle bit. The sun goes down and the lights are fading fast. Drinking in the sweet night air, honey, all I ask. As you raise your glass, I got a feeling this year Thank you for joining me. Catch up. See you on the road soon, no doubt. Bye-bye.